Good morning. It's good to be with you on this Thursday morning as we continue together in our time in James. Today we'll be reading James chapter 1, verses 12 through 18. And this has one of those. James is a wonderful book for a lot of reasons, but James will have these certain verses or phrases like the other day when it said, if any of you ask for wisdom, need wisdom, ask, and God will give it. You know, that a verse that really is just a very powerful verse. You can really build some really good theology around. And you never want to build your theology around just one verse, but James has some good stuff. You're like, that's good, man. That's something you can really sink your teeth into that. And today's section has a verse that I've always sunk my teeth into. So let's read James 1:12 through 18. Blessed is anyone who endures temptation. Such a one has stood the test and received the crown of life that the Lord has promised to those who love him. No one, when tempted, should say, I am being tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted by evil, but he himself tempts no one. But one is tempted by one's own desire, being lured and enticed by it. Then when that desire has conceived, it gives birth to sin, and that sin, when it is fully grown, gives birth to death. Do not be deceived, my beloved. Every generous act of giving and every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no validation or shadow due to change. In fulfillment of his own purpose, he gave us birth by the word of truth, so that we will become the kind of first fruits of his creatures. Okay, to really, to me, um, theology defining verses is too strong of a phrase, but really, to me, essential verses for my personal faith and for my personal understanding of God that we see in this passage here. First, verse 13, 14. No one when tempted should say, I'm being tempted by God, for God cannot be tempted by evil, he himself tempts no one. But when one is tempted by one's own desire, being lured and enticed by it, then when that desire has been conceived, this is verse 15, it gives birth to sin, and that sin gives birth to death. Okay. My mom used to always say, the devil gets credit for stuff the devil ain't got nothing to do with. It's so easy for us to lay our problems on the external. The devil made me do it. Have never liked that concept because here's why. If the devil made me do it, guess whose fault it's not? It's not my fault, right? If the devil made me do it, then I'm just a helpless victim in this whole thing. If he made me do it, then it's on him, not on me, right? What does James clearly say? We're drugged into sin by our own desires. We are drugged into sin by it is our own desires that lead us into sin. It's our own desires that lead us into destruction. It's us. It's I don't have to blame the devil. I can blame Andy. I don't have to blame some external force in my life that's leading me into destruction. I'm doing a good job of that myself. So when one is led into sin, don't blame God, obviously, but don't blame the devil either. Frankly, friends, a lot of it's us. A lot of it's us. I preached a sermon series on the devil and on evil a few years back, and I really think the greatest weapon the devil did against humanity was the fall. Because in the fall, we became corrupt, and we don't wrestle so much against external forces sometimes as we do against internal forces. It's our sinful desires. It's our sin, it's our fallen nature that leads us into sin so often. So when we fall into sin, don't blame the devil. Blame me. I need to look inside of me and focus on my stuff and on how I fall and where I mess up and where I make mistakes. So I think that's a key concept for us to ponder is it's me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer, you know. So that's a huge concept to me is that I wrestle against me. It's my desires. That's why going back through the spirit, self-control is so important because I wrestle against me. That's huge. That's a huge concept for us to think about because it's if we always blame the devil for it, then it's not my fault. It's always the devil's fault. It's not our fault. And that is, I read a great book years ago about people who left the church. And one of them said, this is what I've learned about Christians. When someone outside the church commits a sin, they're wicked sinners who deserve to go to hell. When someone inside the church commits the sin, well, the old devil laid a trap for me. Well, no. So we wrestle against us. We wrestle against us. That's a great thing to ponder. We need to learn to take accountability for our sins, for our actions, and wrestle against our sinful impulses. Then I love verse 17. This is to me the definitive verse for prevenient grace in the United Methodist Church, our Wesleyan theology of God's grace going to us. It says, every generous act of giving with every perfect gift is from above, coming down from the Father of lights, with whom there is no variation or shadow due to change. Every perfect gift comes from above. Friends, if it's in your life and it's good, it's God's gift to you. If it's in your life and it's a good thing, it's God's gift to you. That's what we Wesleyans call prevenient grace. It's God's grace that goes before us that leads us into salvation. It's God's grace that's all over. And so I think this verse here teaches us that if it is in your life and it is a good thing, that is God's grace and God's gift to you. So a beautiful sunrise, it's God's grace to you, God's gift to you. The love of a child, it's God's good gift to you. Music is God's good gift. If it is in our life and it is a good thing, it is God's gift to us. It is God's gift to us. So, y'all, and if we can take that concept to our brain, we see God's goodness everywhere. We see God's grace everywhere. We see everywhere God pulling us to salvation, God pulling us to his love, God pulling us deeper, God drawing us closer, that God's always whispering his grace to us. So today, if it is in your life and it is a good thing, that thing is a gift of God's good grace. So I love the C.S. Lewis concept about beauty, how we don't need beauty. Beauty is, you know, we don't need a beautiful sunrise. I mean, of what value is a beautiful sunrise? What does it contribute? Not much, really. It's just a bunch of colors. The sun could rise in shades of black and white, and it would still be effective. The sunrise doesn't need to be beautiful, does it? It doesn't. Yet it is. That beauty, that beauty is God's grace. I think of that old Wordsworth poem. My heart leaps up. My heart leaps up when I behold a rainbow in the sky. So is it when my life began? So is it now that I'm a man? There's beauty all around us. And I think that beauty is God whispering to us. I think that beauty is God screaming at us sometimes about his goodness. So today in your life, if it is beautiful, if it is good, if it is kind, if it is lovely, if it gives you joy, if it increases the value of your life, no matter how religious it is, or no matter how the word is profane, no matter how profane it is, no matter how secular, no matter how, I mean, I've been to some good rock concerts that were like, this makes me incredibly happy. And that joy is a gift of God. I've been in some ball games that just made me happy, and that is a gift of God. I've been in some all manner of beautiful places or wonderful things and seen beauty, and that's a gift of God. So today we see that we wrestle against ourselves most often than not, and that if it's in your life and it's good, it's from God. So I just love these two verses. Such good stuff that can really form and shape our faith. So. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Tomorrow we're going to continue with some more really good stuff from James. So we'll see you bright and early in the morning. Have a great day.